I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Trying to catch my breath, y'all. So this building has like no elevator, and you got to walk up 3 flights of stairs. And in my case, I ran up 3 flights of stairs today because I was running a little late. And so I'm slightly out of breath, y'all. So just bear with me while I catch my breath. But it's always a pleasure to be in your company. Thank you so much for joining me. And today, tomorrow, and if any of you watch my show, tomorrow is a big day for us in the pageant community, because tomorrow, my cameraman is moving the camera around. Tomorrow is Miss World Day. Tomorrow is the Miss World pageant. And the pageant begins at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Just for the record, it will be broadcast here in the Bahamas on RTV, which is channel 212 on cable. So get your watch party together. I want y'all to treat this like the Super Bowl. For the Super Bowl, you just go get all your little snacks and your little eats and get all your buddies together and everybody gather around the TV watching the game and sharing and all that kind of stuff. Well, we want to have some watch parties going on tomorrow evening because I really, really, really honestly believe it's going to be a proud moment for us as Bahamians. And, Sienna is in Puerto Rico. Sienna Evans is our reigning Miss World Bahamas. She's in Puerto Rico. She's competing very, very well. Now, this second trip, there were 2 trips because the pageant was originally scheduled for December 16th. And it had to be postponed because of a COVID outbreak. I think at least 30 or so contestants came down with COVID, as well as some of the staffers of the Miss World organization. So clearly, they couldn't continue under those circumstances, and the pageant was postponed. So here we find ourselves, fast forward 90 days, and the finale is now set for tomorrow, March 16th. And the contestants, the top 40 contestants were invited back. There were, I think, 100 contestants there in December, but they didn't invite all of them back. Only the ones that have advanced to the semifinals have been invited back. And so Sienna, thank God, was included in that number. And all of the top 40 who will continue on in the competition flew back to Puerto Rico on Sunday past. And then judges' interviews was yesterday. And today they're in rehearsals all day. And then tomorrow night is the big night. So.
Oh, come on.
Seeing that tomorrow, those of you who are my regular watchers, you know that I do a wellness show every Wednesday. So seeing tomorrow Wednesday, and it's going to be a wellness show. You should all out of Justin, Jason, and you ain't put me in the center. You're supposed to put me in the center. So, so seeing that tomorrow, seeing seeing that tomorrow is a Wednesday and it's going to be a wellness show. Oh my God, what are you doing? Like you're going too far. Put me in the middle, center. Like bring it over more this way. Okay. So seeing that tomorrow is going to be a wellness show, um, I decided that this is going to be the only time that we could have this particular conversation, um, because I'm not going to be able to focus on it tomorrow, and then tomorrow night is a pageant. So I'm calling this show today. It takes a, and I know what most of you are thinking. It takes a village to raise a child, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about it takes a village to get a contestant off to an international competition. I want to talk today about what it takes to get them there and ready to compete. And I didn't realize that Jason had brought them in already, but I have two gentlemen with me, and I'm expecting a third by about 2:30. And these two gentlemen are what you would call pageant aficionados or pageant experts. And one of them in particular was very instrumental in helping us to prepare Sienna for her international competition. And he's also a coach who has worked over the years with many young ladies who have competed at the national level. And I'm speaking of Delano Sweeting, who served as our head stylist for Sienna. So, Delano, welcome to you. And also joining us on this show is Walter Green, who is, for those of you who have attended the Miss Bahamas pageant over the years, you would know who Walter Green is because we very frequently bring him over to be a judge. And that is because Walter has a very keen eye and is very knowledgeable about international pageants and fashion and, you know, what it takes to be noticed on an international stage. And so he often comes in to judge our pageant. So welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Can you
Thank
guys?
you.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
All right. So here we are on the eve of Miss World. And Sienna, no matter what happens tomorrow night, she's already made us very, very, very proud. Um, she's done exceptionally well. I don't know if we've had another queen who has received so much international attention leading up to the finale as she has. Um, Everybody has her. Just, I mean, I haven't come across too many people who don't have her in their top 10, top 5, top 3 list. And I'm talking about people who usually don't even, give a second look to the Bahamas. But everybody's paying attention to this young lady by the name of Sienna Evans. And we know that there'll be a lot of Bahamians who are going to be watching around the television tomorrow, especially seeing that it's going to be broadcast on our TV. Everybody's going to be watching and sharing on. But I often say, how many people have any idea of what it takes to get these young ladies off to those competitions, and not just get them off, but have them be competitive while they're there? So I often compare pageantry to a sport, and we understand, like Shanae Miller-Weebo, she has to obviously train hard and prepare and discipline and all that kind of stuff. But people don't generally associate that with pageants. How is it similar to pageantry, what I just described that athletes have to go through? Delano, let's start with you.
Well, I would say that it's actually one and the same. Being a former athlete and now being into pageants, I understand that pageantry is a sport. You have to prepare your mind and your body in the same way. There are very strict stipulations as to what you can and cannot do during the time of preparation. And then
Right.
the competition, while athleticism is very rigorous on your body in terms of motion, the competition is as well. And you concentrate on yourself and making it to the finish line. I would say in some areas, pageantry is actually even more difficult because this isn't just go to the meet and compete. You're there for 2 weeks to a month in the case of Miss
A
World.
month, and that's right. That's right. So you got to be
So
on for a month.
yeah, on at very very on, and
Hmm.
that's very emotional and mentally draining.
Yes.
And then there, as you would know already, um like there are times like Sienna would have woken up at 4 a.m. in the morning to start getting ready because breakfast is at 6, and she's
Hmm.
not back in the room until 11 p.m. So
That's
these
right.
are this full day, and it happens for a month. So that is
Hmm.
very very difficult. It is not an easy thing. It's not all about just dressing up and being pretty. There's a lot more to go to that.
For sure. When I hear young ladies in the national competition complain, because in the Miss Farmers organization, we try to, as much as we can, mimic what happens internationally to a certain degree, and we put a lot of pressure on the ladies in terms of the schedule and all that kind of stuff, the time. And one of the things that we started doing was we started to have what we call a boot camp, where we have them on lockdown for a whole weekend, and you talking going from early in the morning until late at night. And it's really a test to see who has endurance. And by the end of the day, some of them are like grumpy and I'm tired and we've been at this too long. And I'm saying to myself, well, if you can't handle 3 days of this, how in the world are you going to handle a month? You know what I mean? So this is no easy job. And Walter, I know you've been around pageantry for a long, long time, and well that this is no easy game.
No, it's not. And it is a game. And I'm glad Delano touched on one key word that a lot of people really don't get it. And that's your mental state. You have to be
Yeah.
ready. You cannot come into pageantry on this level with family problems and personal problems and boyfriend issues.
Oh Lord.
It wouldn't work because it will all come out in the wash, as they say.
Yeah.
So your mentality, you've got to be ready mentally. You got to be prepared. You've got to have some kind of a balance. A lot of people think, oh, you're there for a month, you're having fun, you're meeting all these contestants from all over the world. I'm going to have meet my best friend. You're not there for friendship. You're not there to get a best friend. I'm not saying
Walter,
you segregate yourself, but
we're all there
it's
for
not
world
about
peace,
that.
Walter. It's all about love and friendship and
Oh, please. That's a
sisterhood.
lot of BS. No, no, no. You're there to win and you have to be focused. So you have to create a
Yeah.
balance. I'm not saying be there and be bitchy to everybody, but really, you have to be
Right.
focused on what you're there for, and that's to bring the
Hmm.
crown home, to represent your country. And that's a part of it that a lot of people they don't get. You know, they think it's all, oh, we've got this
Yeah.
wonderful Yves Saint Laurent gown, and my makeup is by blah 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 blah. And really, that's just a very small part of it. There's so many
Very,
other
very.
layers. There's so many other layers to competing on an international level.
Listen, I remember the first year my organization sent a young lady off to Miss World. The young lady that won that competition was wearing a gown that her Grammy made. And it looked like
Mm,
her Grammy made it. Um, but she won that competition.
mm,
So, a lot of times I think, especially on the local level, we get caught up in the wrong things. I've actually heard in the past people who worked with particular contestants who were competing say things like, well, you got to make sure she has a beautiful luggage set. Okay, that's fine, but how am I going to help her win? And I'm not saying that she should go with different pieces or whatever, but it's like we focus on the wrong things locally.
mm.
And we don't seem to understand what the international community, the international pageant organization looks for. So we strive in the Miss Bahamas organization to judge the young ladies on international standards. Because as I always say, when you go abroad, you ain't competing against other Bahamians. You are competing against the best of the best from around the world. So you need to be judged at that level. I think
Right.
too often we try to coddle our, winners, and oh well, or I shouldn't say winners, but we try to coddle our contestants. You come into the competition, you ain't losing enough weight, but everybody's supposed to just ignore that because because you have a nice personality. No, it's a competition, and you have to be ready. You have to come ready to compete on day one. Don't come, as I would have said, and I did a live with RSA a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things that I said on that live was that a part of our challenge is we get these young ladies who come to us as a project. What do I mean by that? They come to us not ready for competition and expect us in 4 to 6 months to get them ready for competition. Whereas you're supposed to come ready to compete. And I think that is one of the biggest differences with what we see happening now with Sienna Evans, because Sienna Evans came to us ready to compete. We didn't
That's it.
have to whip her into shape. We didn't have to teach her talk. We had to teach her social graces. She came ready to compete. So all we needed to focus on, and Delano, you can go into more detail in this, is aesthetic things. Delano was very instrumental in pulling together a team of designers from all over. Hector Joaquin as well from Puerto Rico also assisted with that. Delano was, very instrumental in crafting the look for her. But those are things that we could concentrate on because we didn't have to concentrate on trying to get this girl competition ready. You understand what I'm saying? So Delano, talk about that aspect of why Sienna, I think, is doing so well, because she came ready to compete.
Yes, most definitely. Um, I think she alluded to it in an interview she did just the other day before leaving.
Mm-hmm.
She competed in 2000. She competed
15.
before 2015 and
Yeah.
was first runner up. She was only 17 then, and she said, I'm almost happy that I didn't win then because I realized how I may have looked the part facially, and physically, but I wasn't ready for the emotional and mental part of not only competing, but also just being the national title holder.
Right.
So initially, we had intentions of competing in Miss Universe Bahamas. So she
Mm-hmm.
started getting prepared for that. A- Again, she came into the idea of it already knowing a year in advance that she was going to consider this. So her head was already in the game.
Okay.
She was already thinking about all the things that she knew that we went over the first time she competed. So she was getting herself emotionally prepared, mentally prepared,
Mm-hmm.
and keeping abreast of all things on a national and international news. Um, it so happens that it was COVID time, and she's in the medical field, so she was fully abreast uh, on that level, and knowing that in and out really helped her. And then using that as her beauty with a purpose was also another thing that was really good. And she took that general knowledge from her profession on another level, because pageantry again is another level. You may think you know certain things, but then knowing it is one thing. Being able to explain it to someone who is practically, for lack of a better phrase, fully ignorant about any particular thing, you have to be able to express that to them. And she's able to do that so seamlessly. And she's the
Mm-hmm.
kind of person also that puts her all into it. She understood the concept of a branded image, which is what you spoke about,
Mm-hmm.
which was more of what I got into after she was um, given the title. And we
Right.
already knew that we wanted to ensure that she was a Miss Bahamas that was good enough for the world. And that means she knew that she's competing with the 90 something plus other women from around the world for an international title.
Right.
But she also wanted to show all of the sensitivities of being a Bahamian,
Mm.
being a strong and intelligent Bahamian woman. So if you would notice, a lot of our wardrobe was definitely international, but it all had a
Hmm.
very chic island twist to it. So her favorite colors are very soft and muted colors, but the times when we did use color, like bright color, it was
I know you had to
all
fight her with for that.
yeah, exactly,
If
but
it
it
was
was
up,
all
if it was up to her,
floral.
she would really listen to it every day.
She was like,
But go ahead.
don't know, whites and tans and grays and some
Yeah, yeah.
blacks. Let me get some of those. I was like, you're going to Puerto Rico and you're from the Bahamas. Please just let me put a floral thing in there. And it was all a matter really of her understanding at that point that we can still give her chic island girl with color.
Yeah.
And we can keep her style, but in a competitive way for Miss World. So, as with anything, it's just a matter of, for me, my job being able to explain to her and work with her with what she already has and what she's most comfortable with and take it to the level necessary to compete. I think she's been doing an amazing job. And luckily, all of the people that I reached out to, um, most of them helped. And I am very grateful and thankful for that. Merlan, Julianne, Patrice Lockhart, just to name a few of the locals. Alicia Seymour, she wore a beautiful fitted floral gown from Alicia Seymour, and she was very, very shocked that that was something that she would have liked. But we got so many compliments on that gown, and it was the most beautiful thing. I really, really love it. I'm very thankful for those people. For I am also particularly thankful for and to Alana at Bahama Handprints because she
And
made
don't
it.
forget Commonwealth Fabrics as well. Yeah, they both came
Yes,
through in a major way. Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
Commonwealth Fabrics gave us tons of. I know every time I walked into Commonwealth Fabric, she opened her eyes really big, like, "Oh my God, what again?"
Oh
So,
Lord, they come for more.
for more, exactly. But they were very,
No,
very, very
yeah.
helpful, and they allowed
Mhm.
us to really put all that we could behind Sienna, and really most of the things that I dreamt of, I just explained it to them, and they were like, "Oh my goodness, I like that. Let's do it." And I can appreciate that level of trust and commitment to your organization and allowing us to really go all the way and do this in the best way possible.
Yeah, big thanks to Bahama Handprints, Commonwealth Fabrics, other sponsors like the luggage store that provided the luggage set for her, other sponsors like Kira Care Hairline that made sure that her hair is fabulous every day. Listen, I am calling this a village because people have no idea what goes into preparing these young ladies. And especially in a competition like Miss World, where you are competing for a month, I want y'all to imagine you got to have one look for breakfast. They may give you time to go change for whatever your day event is. So you come back, you have a second look for the day, and then you come back later on in the evening. You got to make a quick dash to dinner, and then you go back and you get changed again for an evening event. So you're talking three changes in one day, right? Typically speaking, and that goes on for a month. So imagine the wardrobe that you now have to ensure that this young lady has.
And
I mean,
sometimes they're very specific per event. We don't want a
yes.
long gown. We want a short gown. We don't want you to wear high heels. We want you to wear flats. And you have to just be prepared because they don't warn you before she comes there. This is
No,
happening. This is happening right before it happens.
no, I remember after Sienna got the title, she said, "You know, Miss Malcolm, it would be helpful if I could get a schedule of events." I breaks out laughing. I said, "Girl, it don't go like that. You will get a schedule daily when you get there. They don't give us a schedule ahead of time." So you really have to be flexible. You have to be ready to move on. You know, at the drop of a hat. This is a serious competition in terms of your preparedness. And I really believe that it's intended to be that way because whoever wins an international competition, and Walter, you can jump in on this, whoever wins an international competition, in essence, they're living out of their suitcase for a year. And
Exactly.
if she's not a young lady who can quickly adjust, she ain't gonna make it. And so
Right.
I really believe they intentionally make it as difficult as it is to see who has the stamina. Usually by the end of the
Exactly.
competition, only 12 girls left standing, and they the one, and sometimes literally, and they the ones who actually move on to the next
Right.
round. Would you agree, Walter?
And they watch you like a hawk from the minute you arrive at the airport. You know, they are watching you, every move you make, everything that you're wearing. Are her nails done? Is the hair tight? Is the makeup right? Yeah, because you have to represent the world. You have to represent on a world stage if you win.
Mm-hmm.
So the bottom line is it's a big job interview. You have to look at it like
Exactly.
that. You can't just think, oh, I'm cute. My boyfriend told me I'm cute. And you hear all these things and you say, and immediately when judging, immediately this girl is not even going to win local because her mind is not in the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Sienna Evans, she understands the assignment.
Yes, right.
That's the bottom
I
line.
love it.
She understands the assignment and she's there on a mission. And we can't wait for tomorrow
Let me
night.
tell you one thing. Oh, you think it's you? Listen, don't get me started. I'm going to add Rafa Delphin to the stream right now, my
Rafa.
dearest friend, all the way from Boston. Hey, Rafa.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Walter. Hi,
Hey, Rafa,
Waldo.
how are you?
Hi, Rafa.
Michelle. How are you people? I missed the Bahamas.
Now, I have to
wish
tell-
I was there.
I do too.
Yeah,
It just snowed
you gotta come back
yesterday in New York. I'm like, what am I doing here?
Poor thing. Now, let me tell y'all Rafa and I background. When I first decided to go into the pageant business, I had been following his blog, Critical Beauty, for a long time. I used to enjoy reading, his posts, and I thought he was funny and all this kind of stuff. And I really admired him through his blog, from a distance. And then when I decided to go into pageantry, as an organization, my attitude was, I want to come out of the gate with people taking me seriously. We knew and we're going to learn a lot, but I don't want to come out of the gate looking like, here we go again. So I reached out to Rafa. I said, hello, my name is Michelle Malcolm. I'm from the Bahamas. I've been following your blog for a long time. I really admire your work. And I know that you have a lot of connections and I need some help because I'm new in this and I want to get some guidance as to, who to go to for this and who to go to for that. And I said, would you be willing to help me? And he was like, of course. And that was the beginning of a friendship that has lasted now, even through Trump. He likes Trump. All people know. Anyway, I remember saying to
We
Rafa
miss
at one point,
him.
No, we don't.
I said, for the sake of our friendship, we are not going to discuss Donald Trump anymore because he's not worth this friendship. But I have been friends with Rafa since 20. What year was that, Rafa? We started. Jesus, that's a long time ago. 2000. Our first competition was 2000 and
2006. Yeah. Maybe a year before that, 2005. Yeah.
Yeah, because we sent a delegate to 2005. I was granted the Miss World franchise in 2005, so it might have been late 2005. And we have been, very, very close friends ever since. He's been a very dear friend of mine and well connected and knows a lot about pageantry. So happy that he can join us here today. And he's flown to the Bahamas a couple of times to be a judge as well. So we're talking, Rafa, as you see, Delano's here, Walter's here. We're talking about it takes a village to prepare a contestant for an international competition and trying to get people to understand what goes into this. But now it's already 2:32, so we have to take a quick commercial break. So let's take this break. And then on the other side, we're going to get more into this conversation about It Takes a Village. Stay with us. This is GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
silent during the commercial.
The islands of the Bahamas. Fly away.
Every journey starts with the first step, and mine starts here. I believed in Tokyo, the belief that I could be, we could be the best. We are drenched in Bahamian pride, no matter where we go. In 5 years, Alive built the Bahamas' best network, delivering faster speeds and stronger connections to all 700 islands and keys. I am proud to be Director of Speed and Connection. Never stop dreaming and never stop believing.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
Welcome to Chippy's Cultural Experience.
Coming soon, Chippy's Cultural Entertainment, building on a Bahamian legacy.
Welcome to Boston Square. Come experience our islands. Come experience our history. Come and experience our culture. Experience what it is to be truly Bahamian. You're invited. Yeah, man.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company, along with my guests today, Walter Green, Rafa Delphin, and Delano Sweeting. We are talking about it takes a village. It takes a village to prepare a contestant to compete internationally. And as you all know, tomorrow night is Miss World 2021, 70th anniversary of the pageant. And we are very, very, very hopeful that at the end of the night, that elusive blue crown will be placed on the head of the lovely Sienna Evans. That's my hope and prayer. And hopefully from my what do you call it? From my mouth to God's ears. And hopefully we'll have big reason to celebrate tomorrow night. I really believe this is our winning season. Chantel O'Brien started it, and I hope that Sienna Evans gonna finish it. But guys, this took a lot to get her there. And Rafa, let's get you in on this, because people don't understand that this really is work. This is not just you pick up, you go, find a dress or two, you throw a little bit of makeup, and boom, you're ready to go. From yours, he's written a book on pageantry. From where you stand, knowing all of the international pageant organization directors and contestants you have trained, talk about the work of preparing for a pageant.
I don't even know where to begin, Michelle, to be honest, because there's so many things to say. How long? How long is the show?
Only 2 hours. Only 2 hours.
It's 2 hours long.
Half an hour already gone.
Well, I guess I can start how the concept or the definition of beauty has changed through the years. Because when I was younger, when I was a child, being Filipino, beauty pageant is part of Filipino. It's a big part of Filipino culture. I don't remember a day that went
Oh
by
my
without
God.
me actually watching a pageant on TV or on stage or whatever. Yeah, so
Right.
it is it's really part of my culture. But when I was little, when I was small, my concept of beauty was very, very superficial. Every time I saw a beautiful person, a beautiful woman, of course, I would automatically think, well, you should join a beauty pageant. But little did I know that there was so much work involved, preparing a young woman to compete or even to win in a pageant. But as I got older, and I've noticed all these different types of pageants that cater to specific types of beauty, if you want to call it, and that to me was a big revelation. So I said to myself, I started to question my own concept of beauty. Like, does my concept of beauty really this superficial and shallow? I mean, why can't I see beyond the tall, thin, blue-eyed, blonde type of beauty that has been instilled in me, when I was growing up, when I was young? So from then, as I got older, I started to realize, okay, well, you know what? You need to change your way of thinking. And now that I'm older, I just realized, you know what? Any woman, any person can be beautiful. Not necessarily physically, but also, of course, from within. And rather than actually, recruiting for women that are physically beauty on the outside, why not just approach any woman, regardless whether you think she is pretty or not, approach her, uh, get her interested in competing in a pageant, and then see her journey, see her metamorphosis from being a quote ugly duckling turning into a beautiful swan. And I think that's what basically nearly every major pageant is trying to do, is trying to accomplish, is to find the beauty from within and work from inside to the outside, rather than the opposite, rather than the other way around. So I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know if you guys agree with me, but I think that's the way
I
I
do.
see it.
I do. I think Miss Universe especially has been moving in that direction, especially in the last several years since your friend Trump. They have decided to put more of an emphasis on young women with substance. I hate to say it that way. I remember
Diversity,
a couple
yeah.
of years diversity too. I mean, look at the young lady from South Africa who was the last woman of color to win the title. I remember. I remember. Oh, I lost my train of thought because Hector is saying hi from Puerto Rico. Hi, Hector. Um,
Hey,
when I
Hector.
was when I when I was growing up, you didn't see two men of color win those competitions. It didn't happen. It was always like you say the Caucasian woman, the woman And then I remember watching a pageant when Janelle Commission from Trinidad and Tobago won the Miss Universe pageant. That was such a momentous occasion for me as a little black girl, because it said to me that, yeah, this isn't only for people who don't look like you, but people who look like you can do this. And it was life changing in many ways. It was in many ways validating. And then when fast forward, when Wendy Fitzwilliam won many years later, also from Trinidad and Tobago, I literally sat there and I wept that night, because even though Janelle had made that huge stride, it took so many years for another woman of color to get there again. Now, listen, y'all better move to the side. We black girls, what's call it, black girl magic. We ain't playing with y'all now. So, but yeah, this was life changing in many ways to see women of color now, because of the diversity that we see these international pageants now moving towards. There, you go into this thinking, okay, I got a shot at this, because for many years we were just there to make up numbers. I'm convinced we were just there to make up numbers. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
I definitely agree. I think not only is it happening at the Miss Universe and Miss World level, you see it in countries that normally would never have a woman of color, like Colombia. Now, Miss Colombia has the reigning Miss
Ireland.
and Ireland, yes, for Miss World,
Ireland.
yeah, and they've also had
Yeah.
uh, a black Miss
Great
Ireland
Britain.
for
Great
Miss
Britain.
Universe a few years ago as
England.
well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
so and countries like I said, like Colombia and Venezuela, where having a black person be the ambassador of beauty was almost unheard of. And now
This is true.
they do it, and it's almost every year, every other year. And I think that, as a matter of fact, a country like South Africa, who had a very hard time, obviously, with race, and their representative were always Caucasian. Now, in the past 10 years, 6 out of their past 10 queens have all been women of color. So it just shows how everyone is now opening up their eyes and realizing that diversity is key, but the most deserving woman also wins. And that has little to do with it has little to do with her physical aesthetics, but it has almost everything else to do with what comes from the inside, how knowledgeable she is and how
Substance.
prepared she is.
Substance.
Absolutely.
You gotta have. Yeah.
But are you
Not enough anymore.
back to Michelle's point? That's wonderful,
Mhm.
but are you prepared? Are you ready to take the crown? And I think it's a cultural thing throughout the Caribbean that not all of the countries, but a lot of the countries, they still, they're still off on the side. And they put money into these contestants, and you never hear anything about them. I remember one year we were in, Michelle, you may be able to help me. It was during the Trump reign, and the
Mhm.
pageant was held in Miami. I
Yes.
think Colombia won that year. And the Caribbean
Was it
girls,
Colombia?
literally at the pageant party, they were standing against a wall. They had no idea. And, I literally had to pull Miss St. Lucia from standing up against the wall. I said, "What are you doing standing against the wall? Come, meet some people, talk to people." There's a
It
shyness.
was.
There was a shyness with the
It,
Caribbean girls. And I hope it's not
yeah.
still there. Again, they were not prepared. They were not ready.
Yeah.
I mean,
I,
all
I,
the other girls were taking pictures, meeting everybody, being very personable. But I think it's a cultural thing
it is. I
that
can
No,
back in
you
the
don't.
speak to
You
day,
that
don't.
for
You don't go
sure.
to Miss Universe to make friends first and
Yeah.
foremost.
yep,
You
I
know.
said that earlier. But then again, you have to show your personality. And a lot of times the Caribbean girls are very shy. Some of them have not had international exposure. They were taught to be seen and not heard. They were told they're pretty all
Mm.
their lives. And they just stand there thinking that the beauty that they're accustomed to in their home country would get them over, not
I don't think
realizing
that's it.
there's so much more to
Let,
them.
I, let me,
No,
I
no.
think,
Let me.
How you guys feel about that?
I can let you go right now, Delano. I agree with you up to a point. It's not that when they get there, they think their prettiness is enough. They get there and they realize it because while they were the cute girl in town at home, you get to these international competitions and you stand and sit with your mouth drop open saying, OMG. So you realize you ain't the cutest girl in the room anymore. And I think this
Right.
is why a lot of them shrink into a corner because this is another level now.
Mhm.
I don't know, what were you going to say?
well, I agree with him partially as well. And I think I can speak a little bit more on it because of my training and working with teen girls. Unfortunately, I've had girls who, as teens, don't want to quote unquote big themselves up. I
Mm,
Mm,
I don't want to sound like I'm bragging because people will say who she thinks she is.
mm,
Unfortunately, it is cultural and it goes to a point of keeping our women in the background or having them think that if you are beautiful, you hide that under a bushel and don't force that on anyone. And I unfortunately have to continuously work on explaining to girls that it's not bragging, but it's being proud of what you've accomplished. It's being comfortable in your skin. It's understanding who you are and what you have to offer. And they don't understand that concept as much because I've also worked in other organizations internationally where, and also have friends where, for example, Philippines, knowing some people in the Philippines, they see their beauty and they understand their beauty, but they don't count their beauty as their primary source of importance. They understand that it is a catalyst to get them somewhere, to allow them to do some things, but they don't hold that as this is the most important thing that I have to offer. They understand that it's only a part of it. We have to get to that
Right.
point.
Right. Rafa, you wanted to say something?
Yeah.
Started to say something?
Well, I think, like what you said, it takes a village to prepare girls to compete internationally. But a big part of it is also, the responsibility of the director or the franchise holder or whoever is holding that franchise for that particular
Right.
competition.
Right.
I noticed too that, let's say, for over 50 years, you have the same Caribbean countries competing in Miss Universe, but they had never really placed. I'm thinking specifically of Turks and Caicos, Cayman Islands, Antigua and Barbuda,
Curacao.
Curacao, or even the Bahamas, Bonaire and Aruba. For many years, all those countries have been competing in Miss Universe, but only one or two. I mean, with the exception, of course, of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. They're pageant powerhouses. But those countries, those island nations that I mentioned, I wonder, these national directors for these countries, how serious are they, or how committed are they in terms of actually preparing their contestants to compete internationally? Because the impression that I get is that, okay, well, they send these girls just to have a good time. They send these girls to be ambassadors of goodwill, for their own countries, which is fine. But you lose focus, you lose track. You go there not just to be an ambassador, but you compete as the best representative of your country, and also you compete to attempt to win the crown. I don't see that passion or that much desire, enthusiasm from those countries. But hopefully now with the Bahamas, with Chantel O'Brien's, making the top 10, hopefully I really believe that that's going to change, and that's only going to inspire Bahamian women to actually consider competing internationally, joining Miss Universe Bahamas or Miss Royal Bahamas or whatever. I really hope that will cause a cascade of young women, young girls in the Bahamas actually competing internationally, because it's time. It's really time for the Bahamas to shine on international stage.
Yeah, man. That's our winning season. But let me speak from the position of a national director. Sometimes you have passion, but your pocketbook don't match the passion. It's expensive to send these girls off to these international competitions. Let me tell you something. When I say we, the Miss Bahamas organization, we are constantly being approached from other international pageants asking, oh, we would like you to send a delegate. We're looking for a national director. We admire your work. Listen, if we don't turn down at least 2 of them a month, if not more, I mean, it's because, pageants, oh my God, you got 1,000,001 pageants around the world right now. They're constantly reaching out, but we turn them all down. Why? Because it's expensive. You doing everything you could just to do what you need to do for this one girl. So imagine now when you're talking about holding, there was one point where my organization held both Miss Universe and Miss World franchise. Listen, franchise fees alone combined for those two organizations was $25,000 per year. That ain't wardrobe, that ain't airfare, that ain't spending money, that ain't the cost for coaching, that ain't nothing else. Just franchise fees. Now, there's some countries, the bigger, countries spending $100,000 a year on one pageant. But my point is this: they have the financial backing to do so. They come from countries that have this culture of pageantry that support them financially. So it may be, Rafa, it's not that they're not passionate; they just don't have the pocketbook to match the passion, and are doing the best that they can with what they have. One of the things that I like about Miss World is that anybody could win that pageant. They really don't care very much about sash, the power of the sash. Now, don't get me wrong, they are a business. And I'm sure that there are decisions that are made based on from a business perspective. But anybody could win that pageant. Whereas for many years at Miss Universe, you didn't get that impression. It was always only certain countries are going to do well. Now, the reason why only certain countries do so well year after year after year goes back to the pocketbook, because they have the money to pay the best coaches. They have the money to go out and get the best wardrobe possible. They have the money to do these things. Whereas when you come from one of these small countries, you scrapping just to get the girl there. I being real now. I'm being honest. And so if you don't find a way to form some alliances, have good friends like Rafa Delphin, who could introduce you to the right people, have people like Delano, who got all these friends all around the world, designers who are willing to, you don't have that? Yeah, you're good just showing up to clap and have a nice trip, because you can't compete at the same level if you don't have the finances. Now, that being said, one of the things I like about Miss World is they put more emphasis on the delegate herself, on who she is as a person. So I do believe you have I think it's a harder pageant, but I believe you have a better chance. Now, things have changed with Miss Universe. So, who knows? Maybe sash factor won't make so much of a difference anymore there. But the thing is, when you're talking about these smaller countries, a big challenge is funding. I have a comment here from Oswald Ellis. Oswald says, the passion is there in the Caribbean with the directors, but the issues, especially with wardrobe, the island girls like to be covered up. Rarely the island girls will want to wear the ultra sheer gown, and sometimes the parents don't want the girl so naked on the stage. Thank you so much for your comments, Oswald. So yeah, culture is a big part of it. Culture is a big part of this whole conversation, because we in the Bahamas, and I think Chantel's performance at Miss Universe will hopefully open the door to us to start to move in that direction. And hopefully, like I say, what she started, Sienna will finish. But we don't have a culture of pageantry like countries like Venezuela and Colombia and Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. This is Philippines on another level. They on another level. Philippines and Indonesia, forget about it. They on another level. From the fans and the support that they give to the financial backing. I mean, they have the support. But when you don't have that support, it's hard. And you constantly feel like you're climbing uphill all the time, trying to get things done. And you want to give the girl the very best that you can give her. But it's hard when you don't have that backing. So what do you guys think of that?
I think it's time. If, let's say, with the war going on in the Ukraine, if China can afford to support Russia, with arms, why can't Venezuela give some of that lovely Venezuelan money to the Bahamas?
Let me know when you wake up, because you're clearly dreaming.
I know.
Let me know when you wake up.
Well, what would the Bahamas have to give up to get that, money from
free
Venezuela?
Vacation, free vacation to the Venezuelan government officials who are sponsoring. Maybe, put them in a nice hotel in Nassau, the Atlantis, for a week.
Yeah, whatever. Now that Rafa's done telling his joke for the day.
It's too early for April Fools, I know.
Well, I think
exactly.
I think the answer
ahead,
is very similar to that, but more at home. I think we could, well, speaking to you as a director,
Yes.
And over the years, I've had many a dreams and tried to express those based on what I've experienced as a trainer in the organization. But I think one idea would be not thinking always that it has to come from the outside, but finding people on the inside, but using our government and corporate officials to find those people. There are ways and different initiatives in which you can work in order to discover, for lack of a better word, people that will work well within the organization. And you can speak to them in a way to say that you will be compensated, but in the trips to the out islands or hotel stays for a certain amount of time, because right now there's a way to there's a way to do certain things. It's just for the people to understand that if they are passionate enough, you would look into getting something else, or you would be willing to be compensated in a different way. And I know that's not always easy, because certain things you do need finances. But as you well know, look, the short period of time that we had to work with, it's just a matter of communicating and speaking to people that would understand your passion and how you would be able to assist. But the only people who will answer are the ones that actually share your vision. And if they don't answer positively, that means you didn't need them on your team in any event. So good on you.
I hear you. Gentlemen, you want to add to that?
That's interesting.
Anybody? But if not, it's 3:00. We got to take a break, so keep thinking. Let's take this commercial break. But before we go to the break, I have to tell you guys about somebody who has supported the Miss Bahamas organization over the years. And I want to say thank you, Dr. Barry Russell from the Bahamas Orthodontic Center. Their slogan is "Beautiful Smiles that Last a Lifetime." And when you see those queens with those beautiful smiles, they ain't born like that, y'all. Thank God for Barry Russell and his team. 30 years, 30 years of experience providing excellent results in the shortest period of time. And they are the top of the line orthodontic facility. And Dr. Russell is the first Bahamian orthodontic specialist in the country, first and finest. So thank you, Barry, and your entire team at the Bahamas Orthodontic Center for your continued support over the years. Stay with us. We're going to be back after these words from our sponsors. You are listening to or watching GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items. Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
The islands of the Bahamas. Fly away.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
My name is Sienna Evans, and I am here to share with you the vibrance and the warmth of the 700 most beautiful islands in the world, the Bahamas. From swimming pigs to pink sands, natural wonders like the world's deepest blue holes, the clearest water in the world, this archipelago attracts millions of visitors each year for its sheer beauty. But it is the spirit and generosity of our people that keeps them coming back. Science and medicine had always been my passion, but it became my mission. Today, I am the proud owner of Access Bahamas Medical Labs, a network of 8 biomedical laboratories offering clinic services and diagnostic testing. It is my ultimate dream to become a neurosurgeon. That's why presently I serve on the board of the National Brain Injury Foundation of the Bahamas. Now, as Miss Bahamas, I can combine my passion with my mission to ensure access to quality healthcare to all Bahamians. And when I'm not at work, you can find me sailing around the islands of the Bahamas, on the tennis court, or in the gardens, enjoying the great outdoors. I am thrilled and honored to be participating in the 70th edition of Miss World Pageant, and I can't wait to meet my fellow contestants from all around the world. See you soon in Puerto Rico!
It's just that you have to send in an introduction video, and that video was like, what, 2 minutes long, if that? But don't know how long did it take us to put that video together when we're talking about preparation for these international competitions. That took quite a while, eh?
Yeah, almost a complete week when you add in editing. But it was 2.5 days. 2.5 days of filming.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah. And one of the decisions that you made is that I wasn't too sure at first for me that this is what you want to do. There were a couple of shots with her in that video for our radio audience where she wore absolutely no makeup. Now, pageant girl, that's like the kiss of death to be seen publicly without your face on. And you said, Michelle, I want to do these shots on the beach with no makeup. I said, what'd you say, Delano? No makeup? You sure you want to do that? I mean, she's a beautiful girl and all, but it's a pageant. But you know what? I'm glad the decision was made because she has presented herself in this competition as this fresh, natural beauty, and that only lended to that image of her, and that's exactly who she is, really.
Yeah, we she and I actually talked about it thought it when I thought about it the night before when we were preparing to go on the shoot. I was like, I need you to bring your makeup because I want to start with like no makeup, and I want your hair to be the really big, bushy, what she says is dry puff. But I was like, you have no idea how people actually love your hair like that. And many times that I've seen her, because I've seen her obviously without makeup and with all levels of makeup, very little to a lot. And she acts different when she is natural. She presents herself with an air of confidence that most people do when they're fully glammed. But she's so comfortable in her skin and who she is. And I think that that is what really makes her, again, such a fierce woman and fierce competitor in this competition, especially when you think of her freckles, because she grew up, imagine being big tease for the very thing that
That the world is
now makes
celebrating,
you
yeah.
stand out. Yeah.
Exactly.
So big
Early on in
curly
the
red hair
competition.
and freckle face is not common, especially in the Bahamas.
Right. Right. She took a lot of abuse as a child for the way she looks. And the funny thing is when she first hit the scene, this this started coming up, I think, with the Asian bloggers. They started calling her beauty, strange beauty. And they were trying to say, she's not the typical beauty. And I said, I like that. I think that's going to be the theme for my next pageant, strange beauty. And it's all about helping these young ladies to embrace their natural beauty, as opposed to thinking you have to come into this looking like some kind of clone. Show us, show us your natural beauty. And I really love that. I honestly think that's going to be the theme for the next pageant, Strange Beauty, where we encourage these young ladies to really show who they really are, and celebrate the thing that makes you unique. And that is certainly what Sienna Evans has done, and I really think it's going to pay off for her. Now, I don't want y'all to think, listening to this show, that this was any kind of walk in the park. Yes, she came prepared. Yes, she went off and got her education. Yes, she's traveled around the world. Yes, she has a bachelor's in neuroscience and human behavior. Yes, she's checked a lot of boxes. She owns her own business. She's well accomplished. Yes, but this was still work for this young lady. And there were many times when she said, Michelle, I'm tired. I said, I know, darling, but we almost there, especially during the competition in Puerto Rico. I think it was like the last day or so before the finale that was supposed to happen. And she said, Michelle, I'm so tired. I said, Sienna, you're right there. You're at the finish line. But it took some work to get her prepared for this. This wasn't a walk in the park by any stretch of the imagination, especially seeing that she was selected only about a month out prior to arrival, which put even more pressure on getting her ready, whereas we would have normally had 6 months or so. But this girl she's a trooper, because she was able to embrace the opportunity and put in the work and do what she needed to do to get herself ready for this competition. And she was ready then, and she is ready now. Um, but I want us to talk about the work aspect of this, because I think I think one of you alluded to it earlier, too many young ladies come into these competitions and they only see the glam. They only see the beautiful gowns and the makeup and the attending the ball and this and that, but they don't see the work that has to be put in. They don't see all of the hours of going to the gym, making sure that you're reading the newspapers every day, making sure you're aware of what's going on in your world, all of the regimens that these young ladies have to follow just to be ready to compete. They don't see any of that. And I think a part of the problem is when, God forbid, if one of them who has a kind of attitude would to win your competition, now you're faced with the challenge trying to get this young lady's mindset right. Because a big part, let me just say, Grace Fontasia, who's one of our former coaches in the Miss Bahamas organization. Grace, when we first met her, she said, when you want to win an international competition, you have to remember that it is 90% preparation and 10% God. I said, what? We're from a religious country. What? This woman is what was she talking about? I said, please explain. Because, we strongly believe in God. She says, no, let me explain. She said, with the level of competition that these young ladies face, first and foremost, they have to be very prepared. Because if they're not prepared, they won't even get a second look. And if they don't get the second look, they can't advance to the next level to compete. So your job is to do the 90% to make sure that she is so prepared that when she gets the opportunity, now that 10% is up to fate. That is up to, the will of God for her life. That is up to, some people say luck, but you have to get to that point to even be considered. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
I hate to go back, but typical example of being prepared. I don't know if you guys remember Miss Chantel O'Brien. She entered the Miss Bahamas pageant 3 years in a row in succession before she won. You guys remember she was the runner-up? She came back again and again and again. And then what, 5 years later, 6 years later, she enters Miss Bahamas Universe and goes up to become among the top 10. That didn't happen overnight. That's years of training and preparation.
Yes.
So she's a good example to look back on and, refer to that as what you were talking about. Training, being prepared. That's the kind of preparation you need to win or place on the international market.
I agree. I totally agree.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. Actually, like 3 months before Chantel, competed at Miss Universe, she actually sought my advice and she asked me, Rafa, I pretty much done everything I could do in my power to help prepare myself, for Miss Universe. What else should I do to put the Bahamas, to make Bahamas even more noticeable, on the international stage? And I told her, well, since everybody's on social media, why don't you develop your social media, post stuff, beautiful images of you, not just glam up images of you, but also things that you do on a normal basis in a daily routine. So people can relate to you as a person, not as a beauty queen, but as a person, as Chantel, first and foremost. And also, I recommend that you put all the necessary and significant hashtags on every post that you post on your social media, so you can actually attract as many fans, as many new followers as possible. And that's exactly what she did. So maybe, who knows, maybe somebody from the Miss Universe organization found out about her social media and they considered, oh, this girl is amazing. I like her. I like her short hair. I like the shape of her eyes. They remind me of my cat's eyes. I like her elegance. I mean, even when she speaks with so much grace and elegance and eloquence and sophistication. And I think, for a very long time, that's exactly the kind of beauty queen that I was hoping for would show up at Miss Universe. Somebody who's a lot of poise, a lot of charm, a lot of personality, and is just so graceful on stage. And I think that's one of the reasons that why Miss Universe became very interested and attracted to Chantel. And when you look at her, what she's doing right now, she actually runs her own pageant coaching and etiquette business. you have young girls who are actually being prepared by her, and I think to me that's an amazing chance for Bahamian girls to actually prepare themselves for international competition. And yeah, so I'm glad that the fact that Chantel made the top of the Miss Universe, and now she's doing all these wonderful, amazing things as far as preparing young girls in the Bahamas. I think Bahamas eventually, one day, will win Miss Universe, and who knows, maybe tomorrow Miss World. So let's see.
Yes, 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 yes. You know, the thing is, somebody had to break the glass ceiling. Somebody had to do it. And Chantel just happened to be the one. You know, Grace was right. 90% of that was preparation, 10% was fate. And all of the years of her competing again and again and again and again was helping to prepare her. Her experience at Miss World, I'm sure, helped to prepare her for that Miss Universe stage because she already had the experience of competing with over 100 contestants from around the world. She already had that experience. And so it made a huge difference by the time she got to Miss Universe. She wasn't shell shocked. She didn't go through culture shock because she didn't know what to do because she's already been there, done that. You know what I mean? And all of
Exactly.
that helped to prepare her, yeah, to get to the point where she could do as well as she did. So
And not o-
kudos to her.
and not only that, Michelle, but Chantel is a go-getter. If she really wants something, she's gonna find a way to get it. And that's
And
what
she
I
had to do that.
felt.
She had to do that to get Miss Universe. She had to do that. She had to do that. One of the things I'm going to talk about, I'm going to say it, right? Because we have a lot of what we call bandwagoners in this country. Okay? So when this girl was preparing to go to Universe, a lot of people turned their back on her, did not give her any support whatsoever. And that girl hustled. She hustled to get what she needed to go. She hustled. I've been invited to be a part of a cultural commission here in the Bahamas, and with responsibility for the area of pageantry. And the presentation that I had to make at our initial meeting, I said to them, talking about Chantel O'Brien, that young lady did as well as she did in Miss Universe, not because of the Bahamas, but in spite of the Bahamas. What do I mean by that? People did not support her. In spite of the lack of support, she was able to go off and do as well as she did. Maybe she had some support. Who knows? But at least she went as far as she did. And I think this is important for us to say because, and I know this doesn't only apply to pageantry. I've heard athletes complain about the same thing, that you have to go and win a gold medal at the Olympics before they finally recognize, you know what I mean? So how about helping me get there?
Really?
I mean, in the Bahamas, it's a real problem. Generally, you could jump in if you want to, but it's a real problem that they don't give you the support to get you there. But now, once you there, oh, everybody jump on the bandwagon. Yeah, Miss Bahamas make top 10. You know how she get them as Universe? You know what I mean? Now, that being said,
Exactly.
I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, who have come on board to sponsor us, to sponsor this show this week because of Sienna's expected, performance at Miss World. And I don't want to in any way diminish what has been done or what is done. I just think that it should be and it needs to be so much more that should be done, not just for beauty pageant contestants, but for our athletes, for anybody who is representing the country internationally. Because I mean, let's face it, when she walks across that stage, it says the Bahamas or Bahamas. It doesn't say Chantel O'Brien. It doesn't say Sienna Evans. They are representing the entire nation. And if you had to, and especially Miss World, which even though Miss Universe is a more popular pageant on this side of the world because it's an American pageant, Miss World is a bigger pageant. So the audience that Miss World gets is far larger in terms of the number of countries represented. So people from every corner of the earth are tuning in. You can't pay for that kind of exposure.
Exactly.
And if the young ladies are well, come on, man. But we, and let me be fair. Pageantry in this country did take a black eye. Because we had some people who were doing some foolishness. I acknowledge that, and it lost its luster. when I was growing up, it meant something to be Miss Bahamas. Miss Bahamas was revered and respected and looked up to, and every major event she was there at the invitation of the government of the Bahamas. This was a big deal, and slowly but surely it lost its luster to the point where what was once so respected was pageant. Like girls like Sienna would be discouraged from entering a pageant because they somehow it got this image of, oh, that only for dumb girls. So what they can do for you, they can't do that for you. You know what I mean? So slowly but surely we are building it back up. And Chantel, I think, started something wonderful um, in opening that door. And like I said, Sienna is expected to do at least as well. And hopefully this will begin to help us to turn that tide where it's not just you come on a bandwagon after the girl then Blaze, but help her get there. Now, Delano, you said exactly. So go ahead, jump in.
Yeah, I think I got really excited when I heard about the commission and what, well, I don't know exactly what it is that they intend on doing, but what they said initially and what I would assume would make sense of them is putting their money behind the organization in the preparation level.
Yeah.
Because of what I've seen around the world, I think many times a lot of people look at the production of the show and want that to be super amazing and not think of what preparation for the international should be or could be.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Jamaica, for years, I saw online Miss Jamaica pageants in small halls, in small outside places with just a backdrop. Trinidad and Tobago, essentially the same thing. There are many even state pageants throughout the United States where their pageants are in small little theater halls, and the queens for their nationals come out of those halls. In Jamaica, we know Jamaica again is a powerhouse for the Caribbean, Trinidad as well. Dominican Republic, even their pageants aren't always super amazing in these amazing ballrooms with all these lights and stuff going on. But what they concentrate on is ensuring that the girls are fully prepared and they put on a good show. But more than that is that after that show is over, because that's just one night for people to see who the girl is and to make it official. But then there's the months of preparation that actually cost something. We need to shift our priorities first, build it up first, and get back to the point where the girls are so substantial that corporate Bahamas will want to sponsor. The girls are so substantial, they're so well spoken, they can actually have really good interviews. So the government can say, if I invite these girls to certain things, or people can say, if I have them come to speak for us, we won't be embarrassed. You have to ensure that your product is good enough for people to back.
Yeah. That's an interesting point, Delano. You may be onto something, because guess what? We ain't had no production this year.
Exactly.
And we have a girl who's being considered for the ground.
Exactly.
And you marching Mike on right now, because the production for Miss Bahamas organization, that's my baby. That's it. I'm all about the production. Not to say that I don't think the experience of the winner is important. Of course it is. Yeah, I guess that's because of me being from a television background. My thing is we have, and we know the world watches our broadcasts. So my thing is, this will help us to, if we come off looking any kind of how, then we definitely won't be able to attract major sponsors. And I think a part of the success that we have had in the past has been because we've had such a good production, because we've had the TV series, because we've had all the things that we can offer to sponsors. Now, we found ourselves in a unique position this year. We haven't had a pageant since 2019. So we had no way to raise money. We had no way to, to generate revenue. But yet we have a young lady who was represented very, very strong. So you got a very interesting point there. Very interesting point.
It may be that this needed to happen this needed to happen to shift the focus on that particular thing. Because I can tell you one thing, I don't mind being, and I'm a big pageant fanatic, I don't mind being in a small hall when any of the finalists I could see with a crown on her head. But who cares if you're in a ballroom and the competition of 14 girls really only between 2?
I hear you. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you just got to figure out. You just got to figure out what is most important to you.
Well, I will tell you this. Circumstances, because of the pandemic, because of the economy being what it is, because business houses are hurting everywhere, we are going to be forced into looking at reinventing ourselves and coming from a totally different direction as it relates to our final production. And we've already actually started having those discussions amongst ourselves as an organization. So definitely, if you see a Miss Venezuela now does their entire pageant from a TV studio. I mean, Miss Venezuela was known for their elaborate productions that would go on for 5-6 hours. And I mean, and now they crown their queen in a TV studio. The reality of the times in which we live. So that's a very interesting, a very, very good point you made. I don't know. Very good point. Very good point. All right, guys, we have to take one more break. It does make sense. Does make sense. We have to take a commercial break, and then this show, they say time flies when you're having fun. This show is going by really fast. I guess it's because some of my favorite people are on this show, but I am having fun here.
Or maybe because you talk too much.
Oh, Lord. My friend Rafa. I was a little nervous for bringing Rafa on. Rafa, he could go to left field sometimes, but anyhow, I love him dearly. All right, we got to take this quick commercial break. When we come back on the other side, we're gonna wrap things up, really, talking about it takes a village to prepare a contestant to compete in an international competition. Miss World is tomorrow night, y'all. I feel like a kid in the candy store. I can't wait.
The islands of the Bahamas. Fly away.
Every journey starts with the first step, and mine starts here. I believed in Tokyo, the belief that I could be, we could be the best. We are drenched in Bahamian pride, no matter where we go. In 5 years, Alive built the Bahamas' best network, delivering faster speeds and stronger connections to all 700 islands and keys. I am proud to be Director of Speed and Connection. Never stop dreaming and never stop believing.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
Welcome to Chippy's Cultural Experience.
Coming soon, Chippy's Cultural Entertainment, building on a Bahamian legacy.
Welcome to Boston Square. Come experience our islands. Come experience our history. Come and experience our culture. Experience what it is to be truly Bahamian. You're invited. Yeah, man.
Come
8 p.m. Tune into channel 212 RTV on Cable Bahamas to watch the 70th Miss World pageant live from Puerto Rico. And we are all hopeful that at the very end of the evening, we will hear Julia Morley say those famous words. And the new Miss World 2021 is Bahamas. Listen, wherever I am, whether it be in Puerto Rico, because I still try to get it, y'all, whether it be in Puerto Rico or watching in my house, I know I can be snotty up. I can cry. I just know it now. I am going to have to find some waterproof mascara so I don't look like a raccoon afterwards, because I know that if this girl wins this thing, oh my God. Anyway, let me not get ahead of myself, because every year I promise myself not to get ahead of with these pageants, because boy, let me tell you something. Pageantry is a serious thing. You got to have a strong stomach to be to be into pageants, because let me tell you, you could have some disappointments. I remember the year that Bernica Bassett competed in Miss Universe. That was our very first year with the Miss Universe franchise. We had been trying to get that franchise for years. We finally got the franchise and had an amazing queen in the person of Bernica Bassett. And everybody, from the president of the Miss Universe organization straight down to the security guard, everybody's like, oh my God, your girl is this, your girl is the next. Oh, Michelle, you did a good job. We were so confident she would be there. And let me tell you something. When they call that top 15 and Bahamas naming get called, all my guts dropped. I felt like I was going to die. And I said to myself, never again will I put myself in a position where I put all of my emotion. Well, here I am again, same position. Because as much as you say, I'm not going to do that, you get so caught up and so involved in the whole process that you can't help yourself. You know what I mean? But boy, it ain't easy to get that. Oh man, it ain't easy. Sometimes
Well,
you know.
Michelle, the fact that Bernica had competed as Miss Universe, months earlier, definitely helped
Helped her
her.
at Miss World.
Yeah, helped her to
Yes. And
to
she
get a
did make
spot
the
in
cut
Miss
at Miss
World.
World.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. That experience helped her for sure. Okay, so I have a comment here from Oswald. Oswald says, boy, Oswald, this is a long comment. Oswald says, while I appreciate what Delano just said, we must also recognize that over the years, we have had some great Miss Bahamas title holders, and it boils down to community and country support. The Bahamas is filled with spirit brokers instead of uplifters. So when a girl travels to represent our country, it's not an easy task when that negative energy continues to grow from home. Like Rafa said, it's a job, and you have to want that job and all the stress that may go in obtaining and maintaining. Listen, I'm glad he brought that up, because it's so true, and it's something that we definitely need to talk about, and that is the support that is needed from the country. Listen, some of us Bahamians, we just eat patty for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Patty, 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 patty. I don't like Michelle, so I ain't gonna support the winner. I don't like this one. I don't like. Listen, man, get over yourself. Because at the end of the day, it should be about country, national pride. I don't care if your cousin daughter compete and the girl who went beat her. So now you hating on the girl because your cousin ain't went. Man, grow up. Get over yourself. Because let me tell you something. Rafa talk about the Philippines. Ain't no more rabid people in the world when it comes to pageantry than the Filipinos. Listen, they crazy people when it comes to pageantry. They will beat you down for their queen, whether she was a girl they were pulling for or not. When you see their queen coming, you better move out of the way, because they will trample you to get to her.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. To potential future Miss Bahamas, World or Universe, I think you should start making friends with Filipino fans. So, in
Yeah,
return,
agreed.
so you get tons of instant love and support from Filipinos. Okay, just be nice to them, and they'll be nice back to you.
But let me say
Oh
this,
my
because
God,
I think in his statement he sort of kind of gave credence to what I said. At the end of the day, no matter what it is, we have to also step away from ourselves and see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is inevitably no one is going to support someone who they don't think will do well, regardless of what her name is, what sash she's wearing, or where she is from. And that happens in the Philippines as well. As a matter of fact, they've had girls from the Philippines that the majority of the fans didn't think was supposed to win, and they bashed her during the pageant time. And yes, they supported her at the Miss Universe or the Miss World. But you know why they supported her? Because she showed up and she showed out.
Mm.
The same with South Africa. There were many people in South Africa that thought that this girl shouldn't have gone because of because political reasons. She said,
Right.
"I'm still gonna go," and then she ends up being a runner-up. You have to actually make them like you, and you won't do that if it isn't a good product. At the end of the day, it's about the product. I am not going to give you my money to support you just because you're from the Bahamas. There has to be something that comes from this support.
That's true.
That's a very good point. I remember some years ago, I had an opportunity to serve as a judge for Miss Teen USA. And when Paula Shugart was doing the judge's briefing, she came into the room and she said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to remember one thing first and foremost. The product is beauty. The product is beauty." And she looked us each in the eye. The product is beauty. she repeated that. So Walter can tell you, every time I do my judge's briefing, what do I say to y'all, Walter? The product is beauty.
The product
right?
is
Because
beauty.
the product is beauty. Don't forget that, because especially the local level, we just get a little caught up in things. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, she answered a question well. The same as final answer. That's a beauty competition.
Or
Yeah.
Miss
The
High School
product is beauty.
BJCs.
Product is beauty. Michelle, I have a question.
Exactly. Yes.
You'd mentioned that the Miss Bahamas pageant had fallen off, or, it lost its luster back in the day.
Yes.
Why did you think that happened?
Oh, let me answer.
Go ahead, Delano. Let me
Delano.
answer, please.
Because
Since
we
you're so
have,
anxious, go right ahead.
I know I don't want Michelle to answer because I know people will take it in a petty way, but I don't care if they think that I'm petty. We've had people in directorship who go into the pageant thinking that it would be a money maker, but not running it as a business. We have people who say they have the passion, but then when their foot is to the fire, all of that so-called passion is missing in action. If you are going to do something like this, and in the Bahamas, again, you walk into this knowing where we are in terms of economics, in terms of sponsorships, and in terms of contestants. If you aren't going in this for true love and you're not doing it in the proper way, it will never be fruitful. So you would have situations where amazing girls come through your organization, but they are met with so much craziness because you as a director or fan or sponsor, you're not looking at it in the right way. And again, it starts from the bottom. It has to do with the family support, and if she doesn't have family support, friends, or she needs to be a girl who is so sure about what she has to offer that she's doing that in spite of. Then you need to have sponsors who understand we don't do enough to really pay you back in service what you're going to sponsor a girl. So that is sponsorship. That is your good deed for the year. Know that and suck it up. You get some social media stuff. You can have the girl come to your business and talk and stuff like that. But what else do you expect from this? We are in the Bahamas. Then, as a corporate sponsor, your commercials, your ads, your things that you're going to get, it's still national. Appreciate that for what it is and know a lot of this is not going to be, money for value. Not exactly, and not in the way that you all think. Stop thinking that $5,000 is supposed to give you the world, because at the end of the day, a real girl who wants to be really competitive, even on a local level, that is going to run her into about $10,000 easily.
Minimum. Pageants are expensive, y'all. Pageants, for y'all listening, pageants cost money. And I glad you answered, Delano. Thank you so much. Because you know me, I was gonna be anyhow. But here's the thing. People don't get it. If you don't have the support from the government, and now I believe that this new administration is looking to change that through the Cultural Commission. I'm very, very optimistic by what I'm hearing there. But traditionally, you don't get the support from the government, right? Year after year, your audience dwindles in terms of people who are actually attending the event. So back in the day when you would have had 1,000 people or 800 people in a room, you ain't getting that no more, right? So you're not getting the revenue there. Where is the money supposed to come from? What we try to do in the Miss Farmers organization, and listen, don't get me wrong, I sit here saying be perfect. We have made mistakes in the past, but we come from a place of a good heart. We really want to do the best that we can for our queens, and sometimes we just ain't in a position to do so because of limited funding, and we have gone into pocket many times to try to pay for these things that we need to get these girls off. Many times we've had to go into pocket to get that done, right? So we made a decision that we would try to be innovative, and we would start doing things like public vote, $1 per vote or whatever. Let's get the public involved as a judge, and let's try to monetize that, because we listen. At the end of the day, I can't tell a contestant, the winner, I can't send you to Miss World because we ain't raised enough money. She ain't care. That money got to come from somewhere, right? So we figure, okay, if I can get 10,000 fans to give me $1, that's $10,000. Right? So we figured this was an innovative way where we could get everybody involved in helping to pick the queen. We could, raise some money doing it. So we put that out. First year we did that. Oh my God, you'd swear I killed the Pope. Oh, y'all only into money. Oh, that's all y'all into. Why the voting ain't free? I'm not gonna give y'all $1. Okay. But yet, if this young lady walk across that final stage in a gown you don't think nice enough, you the first one to jump up and talk about, oh, y'all ain't putting no money into these girls. Where the hell you think it coming from? Wow. I'm sorry. This upsets me. And you have some people in this country. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. They got personal problems with certain people, and because of that, they are very, very loud about what they don't like. But yet, I'll give you a very clear example. The Miss Bahamas organization has been taken to task for getting international designers to contribute to our queen's wardrobes. Oh man, they call us everything but a child of God. This year, Chantel O'Brien walked across the stage in 2 gowns made by a foreign designer, and she had to hustle to get them. Not one peep from the very people who got so much to say to MBO for doing the same thing. So you see, I always tell my team when they're like, "Oh, Michelle, the people saying it." Listen, man, to me, it's all about where that person is coming from. Are they being genuine about their assessment? Because I believe in what do you call it? Constructive criticism. Nobody's perfect, and sometimes you need an outside eye to tell you, "Listen, you got to pull up your socks over here." I ain't got a problem with that. But if the person is coming from a place of being disingenuous, where they just criticizing to tear you down because they don't like you, man, look here. You ain't paying my bills. You ain't feeding me. You ain't putting no roof over my. So why should I care what you have to say? And I hate to put it this way, but you have to toughen up when you're in this business, because people can be, and the thing is, where y'all think this money coming from? It got to come from somewhere. And we, like I say, have often had to go into pocket just to get a girl off to represent this country. That should not be. And I really hope that the powers that be, I hope that this is the beginning, And I want to say thank you to Chantel O'Brien for your accomplishment, my dear, because you started something. And hopefully this will start a ball rolling that will get us to the place where we get real support across the board, not just after the girl place or win. Then you will come jumping on the bandwagon talking about, oh, we're so proud of you, Miss Bahamas. You should have been proud of her when she's trying to raise money to go. Okay, let me come off my soapbox.
You go, Michelle.
But it has to be said, man. It has to be said because, it ain't easy doing this pageant. But the pageant business ain't easy. It ain't for the weak of heart. Honestly, it's not. It's very, very hard. And I too want to say again, thank you to all of my team at MBO who put up with my madness every year. But I also want to say thanks to Delano, who was an invaluable asset to the organization in helping to prepare Sienna for Miss World. I know he's been after me for a long time to do what he did for Sienna, and it just, nothing happens before it's time. And I guess this was sort of a job interview for him. Like, okay, let me see what you could do. And he did an amazing job. I must say, I want to thank you, Delano, publicly for the role that you played in helping to prepare her for this competition. Tomorrow night, y'all. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Delano, I'm not Delano. Rafa, you said to me, I think it was yesterday, you sent me a message and then you left me hanging. You said, Michelle, I hear Sienna is making waves in Puerto Rico. And I was like, what? What you talking about? What you talking about? And then the man ain't answer me no more.
Well, no, that's what
That's all
Hector
you needed
told
to
me.
hear at that time.
That's what Hector told me because Hector saw her in person and they took selfies together. Her without wearing any makeup, so she looks naturally beautiful. And I noticed her freckles on her lips right away. You cannot miss that. And that's one thing I like about Sienna is because when I interviewed her for my channel, she did not wear any makeup. She was at the airport and she was about to give some free, COVID tests and whatnot. And I was expecting, a dolled up Sienna, but no, she came out very natural without makeup whatsoever. She was just being herself. And I instantly loved her for that. Just she came by just being herself. And that's why what Hector when told me that she's making waves is because the Miss World organization sees in her somebody who's so sincere, somebody who's authentic, somebody who's genuine, and somebody, crossing our fingers, would make an excellent Miss World winner. So what else do you want me to say, Michelle?
Well, at least you could have said that. No. Listen, she's not the typical beauty queen, okay? She really isn't.
No,
There's nothing typical about this girl that you would think beauty queen. Nothing. I mean, go ahead, Delano. You started
And
to say
so
something?
was Tony Ann Singh.
This
And
is
so
true.
is
The
Tony Ann
reigning
Singh,
Miss
correct.
World.
Mm-hmm.
She's not your typical
Yeah.
beauty queen. So it may be a
Right.
trend here.
I
Will
just want
be.
you all
Yeah.
to know that after she wins, I am petitioning for a made-for-TV movie because if you all know all of the things that has gone on in terms of trying to prepare, as a matter of fact, in her last trip there, it will blow your mind that she's actually doing well. And let's just say
Really?
that.
She's so focused,
She is.
no? In spite of all of the challenges, even let me just give you a little example. We had purchased tickets for her to go back to Puerto Rico on an early flight on JetBlue. For whatever reason, she decided that she wanted to travel later, so she went ahead and changed her ticket, right? And she departed a little later, but her flight from Nassau was delayed getting into Florida, and so she missed her connecting flight. And because of spring break and all the madness, she couldn't find a flight into Puerto Rico. Now, keep in mind that they were saying you had to be in Puerto Rico by Sunday evening at 10 because judges' interviews was first thing Monday morning. So here I am getting annoyed now saying, oh man, Sienna, why didn't you just go on the early flight on JetBlue like you were supposed to? Now you're going to change your ticket. Now you're stuck in Florida. So luckily we were able to find a one-way ticket for her from Florida to Puerto Rico. But guess what, y'all? Later that day, I get a notification from JetBlue saying, we have had to change your flight departure time and you will now arrive in Puerto Rico on Monday at 5 p.m. I say, well, mother say. So
Wow.
suppose she didn't change the ticket. We would have been up a creek. So I say that to say this. The Bible puts it this way: all things work together for good. All things. And we have faced some challenges, you know. And this girl is a trooper. She has never, been down. Or matter of fact, when I get flustered, Miss Malcolm, it's okay. It's going to be fine. Like she comforted me instead of me comforting her when things are going wrong. But everything that but this girl is focused. She's calm, and from the local pageant level, it's always the girl who calm. Everybody else running around like a chicken without a head, and this girl just sitting there, calm as ever. And she's usually the one that wins. So who knows? Maybe, just maybe, we will have reason to celebrate. Guys, we're running out of time. I want to give you each 1 minute to give me your final thoughts on It Takes a Village to prepare a contestant for an international competition. Delano, let's start with you. 1 minute.
I think that's very fitting, and I want everyone to understand that the village starts from her house, her friend circle, and her sponsorship. Ensure that this girl has no stress, so the best version of her competes for the national title, so then we can have a really good national representative when they go international, because that's where it starts.
Absolutely.
As I
Thank
said
you so
earlier,
much.
she understands the assignment, and everything is in divine order. We'll talk tomorrow night. Victory party. I'm confident.
Yes.
I'm very confident.
Amen.
Yeah.
Rafa, I now see I give them 1 minute and they take 20 seconds. So we got a little bit more time, Rafa. So go ahead, give me your final thoughts on that.
Well, all I can say is that really preparation comes at an early stage. I think the younger the girl is, when she starts her preparation, the better. Not only that, but since all these major pageants are now focusing on advocacies and platforms and charitable causes and whatnot, I would recommend, if any young girl out there who has a big heart and who's really focused on helping others in her community and whatnot, focus on that goal, develop that advocacy. Because and the more you take time to develop that advocacy, people take notice. The media take notice. Potential sponsors take notice. Your government takes notice. It just it just grows. And look at Catriona Gray, Miss Universe 2018 from the Philippines. She started working with less privileged poor children in the Philippines when she was a teenager, like maybe 13 or 14. And then she didn't even think that she was going to compete in a beauty pageant until her friends, convinced her to join. And when your heart is in a good place, when you're actually genuinely sincere in serving your community, focus on there, start from there, develop it, and then think about possibly competing in a pageant later on in life. Because the more connections you have at an early age, the better your chances of actually winning a crown. So yeah, that's all. That's the advice I can give to any potential pageant candidate right there.
Excellent advice. The bottom line is it shouldn't just be that you're doing this for show, just because you want to win a competition. And I think this is one of the things that has separated Sienna, that who you see is who she really is. That's who she is. She's not trying to put on. She's not trying to pretend to be something she's not. Like I say, she's not the typical beauty queen. This girl more comfortable without makeup. I have to constantly now make sure you put on your makeup, Sienna. She genuinely is a very sweet, loving person. She's equally, I would say, more beautiful from the inside than she is from the out. And she's really beautiful, as you can see from the out. So this is what we're looking for, people. We are looking for young women who are genuine, who are real, who really want to make a difference in their community. And that being said, applications are now open for the 2022 Miss Bahamas World Pageant. Yes, we will be back this year. And you can visit our website at www.missbahamas.net/competition. www.missbahamas.net/competition, where you will find the application form. Now, I suspect that after Sienna's performance tomorrow night, we're going to have lots of applications coming in because I really think she's going to do very, very well. And that will be, I believe, a catalyst for pageantry, not just for the Miss Bahamas organization, but for the pageant industry in the Bahamas as a whole. So we're really, really looking forward to that. So that's missbahamas.net/competition. Competition will be held later this summer, probably around August. And we want our best to come out and be a part of that wonderful experience. Music is playing. That means it's time to get out of here. Thank you, Rafa. Thank you, Delano. Thank you, Walter, for being here today. I really appreciate it and love all of you. Thank you so much. Got to
Bye,
get out of
Michelle.
here. It's
Thank
four.
you.
It's
Thank
4. Got to get out of
you.
here for 4 o'clock.
Bye.
So, Michelle Malcolm, thank you so much for being a part of GPS today. I didn't even open the phone lines. That's how good that conversation was. I'll see you guys. Take care.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the